I mean, the children would be up for it. They would love it.
A second child has hit the altar.
Quack. Welcome to the Little Duck Book Club with Duck number 1,
Ren, and deck number 2,
Anna. And today we're talking about An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. Oh, it was such a nice book. I'm just going to say this was perfection for me. Oh, well, not perfection, but...
This was our palate cleanser after Aka War.
Yeah, to give you the timeline.
Yeah.
This is the post-Aka War read that we had, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we already planned it like this because I was like, I've read this when it came out, and we both have liked other books from Margaret Rogerson, and I was going to reread it this year anyway. It was on my list, so I was like, hey, do you want to read it? And you were like, yeah, I do. And so
here we are.
We had a nice, short, fun fantasy book.
Yeah.
To get us out of whatever Aka War did to us. We were in the trenches, and this lifted us out onto a beautiful meadow bordering a beautiful forest.
Honestly, and besides the fact that we read it right after Aka War, also season-wise, I don't know if you planned that, but timed it perfectly. At least in the area that I lived in, when I started reading this book, immediately it went from hot summer days to nice, late summer, early autumn, and which is the same vibe as the book. So I was like, oh yeah, this is...
Yeah, it fits perfect.
It felt like a gong went off somewhere in the background and was like, autumn. It just went all over. But no, what a beautiful book. I did not know that this was her debut. But I mean, she hasn't written crazy amount of books, right? It's the 3 and then the novella. So I didn't know about the timeline anyways, but I basically read her books backwards, I think.
Yeah, you did. Which is very funny.
Except for the novella. I did not just randomly pick up that novella. I read Associate of Thorns first before I read the other one. But yeah, I loved it. I don't even know where to start. The setting itself, coming out of Aka War.
Because this is also a fairy book.
Yes.
Right.
It's a fairy book. It's about, it has a lot of magical components. And
it has a main character who is a painter.
Right. A handsome, devilish, dark-haired man who's a prince of a court. Honestly, coming right... When it came out in, I think, 2017 Give
or
me
whatever,
the tea.
there were a lot of people drew comparisons to ACOTAR because of that. Mm-hmm. Most of the comparisons were, from the people I had, watched reviews from, were like, wow, it's crazy. Somebody can write fairies like fairies, and also the painting makes sense. I was like, yeah, that sounds promising.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
We recorded the retrospective episode on the whole ACOTAR series, I think 2 weeks ago or something, and we did talk about how there was a lack of whimsy and magic in this world that was supposed to be full of fairies, and it kind of, you had a little bit in the first ACOTAR book, and then it faded out, and I was so happy when I started reading Enchantment of Ravens.
You read the title of the town and you were like, there's my whimsy!
Disclaimer right at the beginning, I read the German version. That being said, it was still called Whimsy in the German version.
German versions, one thing I like is that they usually keep proper nouns and don't translate them, which of course gives us some we're behind in the race to funny name translations, which I know other countries do, but
the Germans are just like, nah.
Like, listen, this is a Germanic language. It translates. You all know English enough to get these words. Fuck you.
To be fair, at least, the German versions get the weird subtitles that nobody else has, so we got that going on for us.
That's true.
So we don't get funny names, but we get funny subtitles for books and movies. But yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things the book has going for it, the magical whimsy aspect that never stops whimsying, even throughout the romance scenes. Like, for the romance scenes, it didn't feel like a switch was switched. And, flipped. It was just about the titillating romance, but it was the whimsy fun aspect still stayed during that, and it actually made it quite fun to read. So it was always very... I don't know if I've said that before, but I usually don't really care for the male love interest. I'm like, okay, whatever. This book, I loved Rook, but he came on the page and I was like, yes, this man, I don't know who he is, but already I was like, I like you. And that stayed, actually, until the end of the book. Usually I get sick of them, but for this one I didn't.
That's nice.
So that's my take on it. Also, he can turn into a horse, so you got that going on.
I was about to say, I was gonna bring that up later. I was like, I bet that was the moment where you were like, that's my man, that's my man.
I have to say, I never watched the show, but that reminded me of My Lady Jane. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like a alternative universe Lady Jane something story. I didn't watch the show because it's an Amazon Prime show, but I've seen enough videos on TikTok with scenes of the show, and at first I thought it was just a retelling Bridgerton-like show, but actually in this whole retelling of the British history, they just include the fact that they have shapeshifters so that people can turn into animals, and the guy Lady Jane is supposed to marry actually is a horse, or he can turn into a horse, and he also has dark haired curls on his head, and I read this scene where he turns into a horse and I'm like, stop. Did the writers of Lady Jane read this book and say, yes, that's what we want to have the epic scene with the girl riding away on her boyfriend in a PG kind of way,
I cannot... I love this comparison, but all I can think of when you're like, oh yeah, and the boyfriend who's a horse is that dating sim that had
my horse.
you know the one with the horse with the human...
Where he looks like a giraffe because the neck is so long?
Yes.
No, he turns him, legit, during the day he's a horse, during the night he's the dashing Lord something.
That's so funny.
It is. And from that moment on I was like, stop, this show must be so good, and then it got cancelled, so...
Just because a guy turns into a horse doesn't mean the show is good.
No.
What the fuck, man?
No, but I was like, oh, this is actually there's a fun little aspect here.
I've got to critically examine all your reviews of anything that has a horse now to be like, okay, is this just getting good reviews because it has a horse and she loves horses? Okay.
I think, looking at a lot of stuff that I have that does include horses does have good accolades from other people, It's fine.
Criticism under every third book needs more horses.
I was about to say, if you look into Red Dead Redemption 2, there's people who actually do praise it for its storytelling and graphics, and not just the fact that it's still the best horse game out there currently. So,
but
yeah. Anyways,
regardless of the horse content,
yes, Rook's still great.
Yeah. Before we get into it, I would also broadly say I think it's a okay book. I think it's generally on the good side of okay, but it also is, to me, it feels very obvious that this is a first book, because I do feel the later books I've read of her are stronger, and B, even while I read this the first time, I felt like a number of things fell flat or weren't quite... The clockwork wasn't gripping right, it wasn't going correctly. There were some things that were just off, that just never quite resolved correctly. Like, it still works, but there are many hiccups where you go, I don't know about that, Chief.
Yeah,
but generally, I think it's good, but I also think it is extremely YA. It is extremely YA.
No, complete your thought first, please.
I was about to say, which was a little bit of whiplash for me, because right before this, I've been reading the Radiant Emperor duology, and if anyone doesn't or knows about it, it's a historical, like, Chinese history with slight sprinkling of fantasy aspects in it, and it is very adult. And I don't mean this in, there's a lot of sex. I mean, there's a lot of violence. It's very serious. They're very... Basically, every point of view character is complex and kind of a terrible person, at least some of the time, if not most of the time. So reading this afterwards, I was like, wow, everything's so simple. This is I'm going back to playing with Duplo after building like a 3,000 piece Lego set. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you mean. So back then, I don't know if there was already like this, because this was pre-COVID, right? And I feel
Long
like
before COVID.
And I feel like this genre kind of kicked up, especially during COVID, which is like the cozy fantasy, because people were just yearning for a little bit of non-confrontational stuff with low stakes. So I wouldn't call it a cozy fantasy. It is.
I was about to say non-confrontational.
Right?
Yeah, that's how I would describe this.
It is very much not that, but sometimes it had the same vibes. I never felt like there was an actual... except for the ending. I was hooked, right? But a lot of times when I think I was supposed to be scared, I was like, nah. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna turn out. Like,
it's a YA book.
Exactly.
It's not like anything meaningfully dangerous
right?
is really going to happen.
But there were some of the aspects where I was like, oh, this is kind of cozy, isn't it? But
parts of it, yeah.
It was very... It went down like a good hot beverage that you start drinking again, finally, at the end of the summer. It went down without a hitch. Could have been better, but you can't have a banging chai latte every single day. So,
Yeah, it's solid enough. I wouldn't strongly recommend it, but I would say if you like her other work, it's perfectly good book to check out. If someone's like, oh, I love this book, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can see why. But it's also, like, I wouldn't recommend it, but I also think it's okay. Like, I feel like there are books where I feel like, yeah, this is strong enough where I'm like, oh, you should read this. But for this, I'm mostly going, I mean, it's fun, and it's mostly fluffy, but it doesn't have that much substance to me. So I wouldn't go out of my way to tell people, oh, you should read this.
See, I think I would definitely recommend this. I think if a person asked me about, like, hey, do you have, like, a book you think I could read? It's like, doesn't get my heart beat up and is, like, not scary or, like, big fantasy, whatever, I'd totally be like, yeah, go read this one.
Then your friend comes back and shows you the scene with the Barrel Lord and is like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you? I told you not scary.
The Barrel Lord?
The Barrow Lord.
I was like, is he not called...
Yeah.
I was like, is he not called the Erlkönig? What the fuck? For a second, I was like, did they use a different word in English?
I mean, it's the Alder King, because, like, obviously, the tree has a different English name. So it's with an A, it's the Alder King.
You know what? I think I like the fact more that in German it's Erlkönig, because I immediately had the poem in my mind. So I was like, ooh, scary dude, okay. So... I think the German translation actually cooked harder here.
It's the same figure, like the
I
Elder
know.
King is very present in classic.
I know, but Elder King sounds like he's like senior citizen,
It's not with an E, it's with an A.
So
he's not the Elder King. He's the Alder King. He's not king of the elderly. I mean, he is also elderly.
He is also elderly. The Alder King.
He is literally collecting dust, but...
No, I think Erlkönig still sounds cooler. I'm sorry, but we'll get to that when we get to that point.
I actually think Erlkönig sounds super unserious to me. I'm sorry.
I was like, oh, the Erlkönig. Okay, so but you were talking about the monster that comes out of the like funeral mound.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
See, that's what happens when one of us reads the English and the other one the German version is like, oh, the Barrel King. That's Cas Bracker, actually, the Barrel King. Okay, so.
Well, this is the Barrow Lord. So
yeah, but I understood Barrel King, so that's what I'm going with. That's.
But I feel like some people might. I find it very difficult to judge what other people will find scary because horror elements often don't really hit as hard for me in reading. There are books where I've heard people talk about, oh wow, this was so scary, boy, I couldn't continue it because it was just too much. Mm-hmm. And I dropped the book 100 pages in because I was bored. So, you know, there are different levels of what people find scary.
That is completely true, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I think overall it had. I think it was the whole thing that made me feel quite like it was like a cozy, easy thing. Oh, it's easy read. I do have to say, and that's also why I was like, oh, I'm surprised this was her debut book, because I felt like her language in this was. I mean, also credits to the translator, of course, but like. Language was really good. The way that things were described, and especially the more like rotten and like decaying aspects and descriptions of the story, I was like, oh girl, like this, wow. I mean, maybe it's also because Isabel is a painter, and it's not like because it's like her POV of everything, but still, I was like, oh. I really liked it.
That's actually interesting because one of my points is that
you did not like it?
The descriptions to be not like I felt like they could have been more vivid in many places where I was like, I feel like a painter should have stronger language for a lot of this. Not necessarily I think the gross out, like the disgusting rot stuff, I think that was solid, but I felt for a lot of visuals I was like, okay, I feel like a painter would have way more specific things to say here, especially someone like Isabel who's like crazy obsessed with visuals and painting, who's not just someone who paints, but someone who we'll get to that later, but someone who's like very unusually fixated on it, right?
Maybe we do have to credit the translator.
That in part, but I felt in many places I think that is something where the low page count is indicative, because I felt many scenes could have slowed down to actually paint a much stronger picture and have stronger vibes, you know, and it wouldn't have hurt because this is a short book. In English, it's 300 pages. These pages are not very full. It's a quick read, so I feel like having 20 more pages because every chapter has slowed down a little and has like a few more, you know, bits of descriptions, I feel like could have actually done a lot. Because I felt it is a very fast book, and I feel like in many scenes it suffers from being too fast. And, you know, running away with the story.
We did just compare. Your version has 270 or was it
297.
297 pages. My German one has 360. And while the pages are not, like, it's not a super small script, right? I have seen a lot worse. But, like, it's, you know, for me it did feel a little bit like I was breezing through it.
we were just holding up the books for each other, and I would say it actually looks like yours might actually have even more, like one line more per page or something.
Yeah, I don't know what the Germans did. Maybe I just had like half of a more.
Germans are just very wordy, okay?
Right.
I could also imagine maybe that the German one counts pages differently as well, because mine starts at page 1, and Germans typically count the front matter and start at like page 7 or something.
It does start at page 7. I was about to say, it does start at page 7.
So this is also something to consider that happens.
Already to
German
consider.
books comparatively.
To be fair, from what you said, I actually noticed it the most during the rot scenes. I was always like, oh, this was so nicely described. You know, how something oozes out of some bark. Yeah. Or like some... The mushrooms that were like eyes and hanging out of the socket and stuff.
Yes.
Those were the moments when I was like, this is so good.
Were very strong.
Yeah.
But there were parts where I felt like, especially for the introduction to the spring court, for example, I felt there was a lot less. And I also felt like with the description of the autumn forest, I was like, okay, sounds super generic in many places.
Listen, I did not even notice we were walking into the spring court. Only when Isabel was like, oh my god, the spring court. I was like, the spring court?
What?
What? Because it was like, it's another beautiful forest. Wow, where are we going? And I was like, oh, we're in the spring court? I never guessed. Oopsie.
I mean, I already knew because I'd read it before.
Only when she was like, oh, look at the flowers, they're so pretty. Oh. You know?
I think it also felt very clear when you compared it to the Hall of the Older King, where the description was very heavy, where we got a lot of information on the vibes, on how things looked, what they were like. Mm-hmm. And there I was like, okay, yeah, this is extremely strong visuals. But for the spring court, I was like, oh, I just thought it was a meadow, but then it turned out it actually was the throne room. Okay, never mind. And I was like, okay, that's not... You could have done more here, I feel like.
So the spring court, in my mind, looked a little bit like me being like, oh, she's waxing poetics, but it was actually only about the rod. The spring court left me so confused, because in my mind it was like an outdoor wedding, you know, where you have like the white plastic chairs on like a meadow, and then around you have the green trees. And then you have one gigantic fucking tree in the middle with a staircase. That was like my mental picture of the spring court. And then at some point, another tree grows there, the rook tree from the one little fleck of blood from his. And I think at some point I was like, I'm just gonna give up imagining the spring court. I'm just not gonna bother, because in my head it just got worse and worse by piece of information we got from the layout of what it looked like. So I just stopped.
I mean, the main area, like the throne room, is supposed to also be like surrounded by tall trees that wind into each other, like at the top, like a cathedral. But I do feel it's not strongly described what tree is the big one they go up. Are all of them that big?
Is it also
the description
a birch?
There was really lacking. That was something that it felt was very strange, because I was like, spring has like a lot of visuals that you can work with.
Yeah.
But we didn't really. And I felt the same about the autumn forest, where it was like, oh, all the trees are red and orange and yellow now, and also there's the aesthetic fog, and that was kind of all there was, which I feel like a fall forest can do a lot more.
A little bit more, yeah.
And more specifically, but this is also adjacent to another thing where I felt like the seasonal concept was not explored fully, because the vibes are just like, oh, we have the summer, even in Whimsy, where the vibes are, oh, it's always the same sunny summer day. Mm-hmm. And then all the other courts are also just always sunny. I'm like, There's weather during the seasons, right?
Like, what about the summer storms and stuff? Yeah.
Right, is there no rain in the forest? Is there just the picturesque early fall version of the forest? Do we not have the depressing early November forests where most of the leaves have taken a plunge? It's all just mulch at the base, it's just a brown soup. But that can also, you don't have like the stark skies with like the, slightly creepy trees that have no leaves. And we just didn't really do anything except the most picturesque version of everything.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, if we're at the topic of the courts, as a winter child myself, I thought it was quite uncreative to make the winter people be the bad people again. I think because it's always like, they're so cold-hearted and stuff.
Actually, we just never really go to the winter.
Well,
the winter court gets slighted so hard.
What am I about to say? They only get slandered at every single occasion there is. They're barbaric. They don't put the glimmer up to look cute and nice. They eat without the glimmer on. They just put the maggots in their face. And it's like, stop. Oh my god.
I mean, the thing is also that we meet every other monarch, but we don't meet the Winter Prince. He's not around. We meet Hemlock, who's like, well, I'm not the monarch. I just, do other stuff.
Other stuff being murder, but yeah.
Listen, Hemlock just likes going around with her dogs, and she's having a great time. I support
she's
a girl
dog
boss.
Girl. Hemlock is like, she has 50 leashes on her hand, and she's just pouncing through the forest.
Nah, she has 50 dogs, and they're all off leash. She's not.
He's nice, and then you see the dog coming towards
mauling a baby, yeah.
She's not gonna bite. He's just gonna devour. It's just gonna be fun.
You should have put your baby on a leash.
Pick him up then. It's like, yeah. I thought that was
the
very
Winter Court gets the short end of the stick. It's really cruel. I was like, because I feel like it could have been so fun to go from the summer in Whimsy. Then we go to the autumn lands with a rook. Then we go to winter for short, but then we go to the spring court and we end it in the summer palace. And we have the nice
season
way the seasons go. But that didn't happen.
No, not here, fam. I was like, but what about, where's the rest of the winter representation?
Where's my beautiful winter wonderland?
Yeah, I was like, ready.
Very upsetting.
Some sparkling snow and shit.
Very upsetting.
Very, very, very upsetting. But regardless, there's nothing we can do now.
No, of course. But I think that is also one of the things where I feel like a longer... Because I don't think the story needed to be so short. If it wanted to explore the world of the fairies that live near Whimsy, you could have gone to every court and gotten a stronger impression of every court. Because it's not like we ever see the autumn court itself. We just go through the autumn forest a little bit. Rook hangs out there, draws strength from the ground, and then they go sayonara and leave again. So that's,
sayonara, Doitsu. Yeah, it's just, another thing I didn't particularly care about, and I feel kind of mean saying it, but honestly, no, I don't. I did not care at all for Emma and March and May. I was like, Isabel, of course you care about them. They're at the forefront of your mind, and you're worried, and that's all very sweet. You're a very sweet girl. But I did not care for them at all. I was like... But
they're so quirky.
I was like, God, these children annoy me so fucking much. I was like, I don't know why they're here, but I guess it was to show, how the curses, the enchantments can, potentially become a curse in a way, and how magic can go wrong, and how the fairies are, not infallible, but I did not care for March and May. I did not care for them at all.
I think the thing is that it feels a bit like she saw that just having the aunt would be kind of cookie cutter. Oh, she just has that one aunt because her parents are dead, and that's the one person she cares about. So she was like, no, we're gonna, widen the circle of family a little and give her something more to care about. And here, look at these, like, quirky, fun kids. But I don't think it works, especially because the time we spend in Whimsy and with her family is so limited.
Yeah.
That actually you just don't really care. I didn't even care about Emma, really. I was like, well, mandatory adult character for a 17-year-old. She's not literally her mom, but kind of is her mom ultimately, and how the setup works. And annoying little siblings who add nothing and never really do much at all. So, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think they add any actual plot point.
Even at the end, where they're the ones who Gadfly gives the box to, he could have just left that on the doorstep.
I was so confused for a second. I was like, what? You got a box? What? What? Because I thought I had missed something. Because I think it was at a page break or something. I was like, what happened? What box? Yeah, no, I think they were totally... It did add to the... I got some Howl's Moving Castle book vibes from the whole thing. You got a magical house. You've got, an artist, crafter working in there. You've got some kooky little ex-goats who are now humans and are a bit weird. You've got the maternal figure. You've got the handsome young man who is also kind of a bit stupid, but we love him. So I did get the Howl's Moving Castle vibes, and they would not have been as strong if we didn't have the three of them in the house too. But this is not one of the parts where I'd be like happy to read more about them. I'm like, nah, I don't need more pages to care about these characters.
I don't know if more pages would fix it, but it certainly doesn't help that we basically just, here's a page describing all their fun shenanigans, and now she's getting whisked away by Rook. Because the truth of the matter is that most of the page count in Whimsy is focused on Rook. Like, that's just how it goes. So really, Isabel could have also been someone who lives alone and just has strong relationships with her neighbors or whatever. It didn't need to be people who live in her house.
Yeah. But, yeah.
But of course, she needs a reason to want to return to Whimsy, so she has to have family there who she's responsible for. But in that case, I think maybe it could have been stronger if it were a sibling of a similar age instead of an aunt or little kids.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really just depends. I also just don't really care for child characters most of the time. So honestly, it would have been more interesting if they had been talking goats, frankly, who had like a personality.
Yeah.
Right? Because I feel like at least then it's even more whimsical in that sense.
Or if it was like them being like at random switching back to goat and human. So it would be like, it would be funnier. Or talking goats but buying humans, that would also be funny. But
the way it was, it's just not very compelling to me.
Yeah. What I did... No, continue.
I was just going to say, I think I generally found the character relationships to be not super compelling on any level, because I think most of the characters actually feel extremely flat, ultimately.
Yeah, that is true. The romance between Rook and Isabel is cute, but again, it's also not intended to be that kind of romance. It's not like heart-achingly deep, makes you cry with joy, as soon as they kiss. But I did like their dynamic that they have. Because I do like... Again, that's why I liked Rook. I do like a character who's just in love with the other person. And it doesn't, where it's like... I feel like sometimes the the men are written in the way where they must be so super cool and so suave, and then at some point it's like, oh no, actually I loved you all this time, and like I'm so horny for you, right? And Rook is like, from the very beginning, it's like, oh no, I don't think he knows what he feels for her, but it is something, and you can notice as the reader, and I did like that, so I like their relationship. I thought Isabel was a bit annoying in the beginning when she was immediately like, oh my god, I think I'm in love with this man. I thought, girl, stop, you're not. Like, let's be for real. And then he drags her into the forest and she's like, how could I ever? And I was like, yeah, Isabel, you're right. How could you ever? Like, this was too fast.
I mean, that's also the thing where the part in Whimsy is just summarized, where it's like, oh, he came over and over and over for sessions, and that, is how we got close. And as a reader, you're like, okay, but I'm not feeling any of that. Yeah. I don't, right? You can tell me anything, but that doesn't mean I feel anything about it.
So that I was like, oh, we're good. We're doing this a bit too fast. But
yeah, I generally do like Isabel, but I also feel Rook suffers from something similar, but Isabel is introduced to us as a super down-to-earth character, but I don't feel that in a lot of her actions, frankly. And then, especially later in the book, when she's in love with Rook, I also feel like it is too intense, too fast for someone who's supposed to be cautious and kind of emotionally stunted. Like, someone who's, like, not, someone who is not the swooning romantic who feels overwhelmingly strongly. And I understand that the arc that was meant for her is that she is like that, but she changes through a relationship with Rook, and she does also feel... But I feel like for such a short book, and for such a short time frame that it covers, it's more... It doesn't hit, I feel like this is an arc for either one long book or even a series, but to me, I think it would have felt less weird if she had actually been someone who was kind of fanciful and had romantic notions, and that's why she first has the romantic notions about Rook and is like, oh no, he's gonna leave and he's never gonna come back. But,
yeah, because she
it was nice while it lasted, and then she gets the reality check that he's a bit of a freak, and
he's a horse.
Then she's like, well, actually, I'm into freaks. So that development could have still worked.
Yeah,
but I feel like I'm so super down to earth doesn't actually add anything to it. It more subtracts from it, because then I'm like, are you really... You're like, no, I will die for this love. I will not even consider doing anything else. I'm like, okay, but as a very down-to-earth person, shouldn't you at least think about, okay, but if I do kill him, that would be way better for my family, and like, they do need me, and I do need to go back, and maybe that is the... But it feels like she makes a lot of emotional decisions, especially when she's also like, ooh, I'm spying on Rook while he's washing. I can't even explain it to myself, but I just have to look.
Little creeper,
There's so many parts where I'm wondering, is this really something a very down-to-earth character who's super practically minded would even think about? Or is this someone who actually... That's why I say the characters fall flat, because I don't feel their main character trait we're supposed to associate with them actually comes across well in the writing. Yeah. In the same way that Isabel comments several times that, like, oh, Rook's kind of arrogant, but, it's kind of cute on him. But he's not. Our first introduction is to him immediately apologizing to Isabel when he notices he upset her in some way. He's polite the entire time. He's polite to her family. He talks politely enough to the other fairies they interact with when they're not, on horrible terms already. So the arrogance angle doesn't go at all. Sure, he's confident, but he has the skills to back it up. So I don't feel like arrogant is even a remotely accurate descriptor for him.
I would totally agree with you. If at all, in those scenes where afterwards she's like, oh, he's so arrogant. To me, it felt more like petulant child, if at all, because he's frustrated by the whole situation. And that's also where I got the house moving castle thing in my mind, because I was like, that's just Howl running away to Wales, you know?
Right.
It's the same energy.
When she says, oh, he will agree with me, but he first has to throw a tantrum about it, I was like, this is a several centuries old adult. Okay. But,
like,
I mean,
yeah.
with the way that all the fairies are kind of impulsive and, like, childish and, like, you know, kind of
because they're
stagnant
so
developmentally,
yeah.
it doesn't detract from his character, where you... With other characters where you go, are you not supposed to be super old? Why are you behaving like this? This is beneath you. They were like, oh yeah, they're just all like this.
It would be super weird if you know, Reese's Pieces would behave like that, because he's like supposed to be all old and mature, but for them, because they are also like fairy and whimsy and playful, it makes sense. Also, because what I thought was really funny was the having to bow thing, you know, because they have to be polite,
so funny.
Right? And already when you can see, like, I actually laughed out loud when she like does the thing the first couple of times to like make him angry, right? To slow him down.
So funny.
I thought, you know, I would also throw down a tantrum like a 2-year-old if I was him and I had this fucking human and I'm trying to save her life and she keeps on like bowing. Actually, no, I'm not saving her life. I'm saving her life later on. First of all, I want to fucking ruin her life or ruin mine. But that was... No, I found that's why I found Rook to be actually charming, because I was like, oh, look at him. He's just
I do think
idiot.
He's fun, but it's also just, he's just kind of a nice boy. Like, yeah, he's got some, you know, temper issues, but like mostly he's just kind of a nice young man.
Yeah.
He's polite, he's nice, right? So the way it's trying to frame him as, oh, he's so full of himself, and it's just like, I don't see this. I think you should have written this differently if you wanted me to take this away from the story.
I was also confused at first, because I was like, oh no, is he gonna turn into an arrogant asshole? Like, is this gonna be the initial Rook that I liked? Is he going to turn into like a like the sarcastic bad boy with the black hair? But no, it's it feels like, I feel like Isabel was supposed to be like the sheltered sort of character that has to be down to earth, but she's actually not, and then it crumbles as soon as she gets taken out of her actual like habitat. But what you said, it felt like she didn't have to stay grounded, but she actually was a grounded person, and that kind of like battles with what actually happens in the book, because you're like, is she grounded now? Is she a wallflower? Is she like just a country bumpkin? You know, what is happening?
The real problem there is also just that the characters repeatedly say this about themselves or each other, where you're just like, but I don't think that's true. You don't behave like a person for whom this is true. Why are you saying this?
Yeah.
Especially because this is a YA, and this is not trying to go for an unreliable narrator with strong opinions who were meant to see as, okay, this is not, you know, their lens is a lens and distortion is in fact going on. But most of her thoughts we are meant to take as real, reliable information that tells us the truth about the world as it exists in the book.
Yeah.
And that's where it loses me, when Isabel thinks like, oh, I'm always so reasonable and grounded, and like on her first meeting with Rook, she's kind of rude, even though she's like, oh, I have it ingrained in me not to be rude to fairies. And then on her second meeting, when he visits her, she starts blurting out random things, and it's just like, I don't think what you say about this character is true. I just I don't see it.
I was I was struggling getting Isabel's character down in the beginning, also because of that. Because on the one hand, she feels very, like, busy, and like busy in a good sense, right? She knows where she has to go, she knows what she has to do. She's very confident when she goes and buys the pigments, right? She's not like, oh, hee, thank you, you think I'm the best artist. She's like, I know I'm the best portrait artist. I actually, pity every single other portrait artist that tries to get into my hunting grounds, because fuck y'all, I'm better than you.
Yeah,
right?
She's
And
like,
then
people will still want my commissions after I'm dead and gone. You people are so fucked.
Yeah, right? And she's not like, oh, I'm not gonna recommend you to like the higher fairies because I don't want, because I think you could actually keep up with me. But she's like, oh, I'm gonna recommend you to like the least harmful fairy I know because I'm afraid they're gonna eat you alive. So it's like, oh, she is confident about what she's doing. And then Rook comes in and she's like, ah! And I'm like, what's going on, girl?
What is going? Yeah,
you were so confident a moment ago. I mean, yes, you were also attacked by a monster on the way, but you were so confident just a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, this is a part where I also feel like the romance plot and the actual like other traveling through the courts plot and bringing down the Alder King plot don't mesh super well. And there's actually, when the book was coming out, it was advertised pretty heavily, like good for her that her publisher worked well on this. And the summary, I remember this, it's not the same summary that's in my book. The one in my book is much longer. But the summary that I heard everywhere and that I saw when I bought it ended at the part where it was like, oh, and he, comes and takes her to his court to put everything to rights about the portrait. So, because she fucked up. Because she painted human emotion onto his face. And a lot of people came out of the book and said, he
never takes her to court.
Yeah, this didn't go at all where I expected it to go from the summary, because nothing in the summary is inaccurate, but it feels like this should have, right, because he ends up defending his strength or whatever in front of maybe the spring court where he's trying to show off, oh yeah, no, it's not, it was a mistake on her part. The painting thing, this is just a new thing, it's not a me problem. But he never stands in front of his own court.
He never makes it there.
Right? And that's also where I feel like a big hiccup in the story is, because our inciting incident, our main conflict that starts the story, is that the portrait she painted of him and the truth she painted into it caused him problems, and they want to rectify those problems. And this never happens. Instead, halfway through the book, they're at the spring court and the focus changes to them breaking the good law, and it's about, are they in love with each other and what will they do when inevitably people find out they're in love with each other. And that's the main catalyst for the ending, and it's just, we just never go back to the thing that actually led us into the story. We just drop it at like 100 pages and then we just never revisit it. We're just done with it.
Yeah.
And I understand that part of it, the whole, oh, she can paint fairies with emotions, winds through the rest of the plot, but it is not... That's not actually the problem, right? The problem was that her portrait was too accurate, not that she invented emotions to put on fairies' faces. So it becomes just right? It doesn't really address the actual problem that's introduced to us, but it just hands us a new problem, and then we solve that problem, and through that the other problem, I guess, is also kind of solved, but really these things don't really...
It's like we take a We take a side quest, and then the side quest becomes the new main quest.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the German blurb, and it's not. It's a bit less like, and he takes her to court. It's like a short explanation, blah blah, elves, and she paints him, and she like makes a fatal mistake. She paints the pain in his eyes. A weakness that will be, what's the translation for this? Will condemn him to death. To save his life, they have to learn each other and to trust each other. But can you trust an elf? That's more like a fairy.
Oh.
That's a little bit.
Yeah,
but
no.
yeah.
The thing is, and I personally also felt that way when I read it. I didn't mind because I don't think the story that it ends up telling is bad. Mm-hmm. But now looking back with more experience and knowing more about writing as a craft, I'm also looking at it and going, yeah, actually, the first, 5 chapters or whatever set up a totally different trajectory for the story than we end up going for. Mm-hmm. And I don't get the impression that it is a subversion on purpose and more a problem of, I need them to start going together so Hemlock can catch them and then they'll have to run and everything else will happen. Mm-hmm. And I need something to make them go together. And I want the whole painting human emotion on fairies' faces. But I don't think the elements are there, but I don't think they actually are connected correctly.
Yeah.
To really tell a really good story. The story works fine enough, but that's what I meant where I said that there are hiccups where you just go, wait, what? Or we do, what?
Yeah.
Where you pause and go, but wasn't this book about something else? Why are we here now?
I have to say, maybe that was also the reason why the Spring Court is such a black hole for me in terms of a lot of things. Is because in my head I was like, okay, our trajectory currently is we're running away from Hemlock, we are hurt, we go to the autumn forest, get healed, and then we still make our way to the autumn court because Rook has told Isabel, he's like, you know what, no, I'm gonna bring you back, but and she's like, yeah, we still gotta solve your problem, blah blah. And then we get more or less abducted by Gadfly because he's like, oh, hey, guys, wanna come to my court? And then I was like, but why are we going to this court now? That makes no sense. We gotta go to the other court. The painting is in the other court. But then I just went with the flow and was like, okay, Gadfly, let's go. So I guess that's, I kind of, in that moment, I was like, okay, yeah, just do whatever.
Yeah, it just, the middle of the book feels just like, there's a bunch of scenes happening, but their connection is just, they walk through the woods in between these scenes. Don't worry about it. And that's... It's just kind of missing something.
Yeah. The scene that for me was the most, I didn't know what to make of the scene, was a bit more towards the end. That's when she gets turned into a rabbit. Because I was like, I don't see, we get the betrayal later on, so there's no reason to be like, we need to find a scene to show that the fairies don't take the humans for, actual beings, right? And that they instead take them for little play toys that we can just, turn into rabbits and chase around, right? And we also didn't really need a scene, of Rook being like, oh, my poor Isabel, my poor little baby bunny, because we already know they love each, already know there's something going on. So I felt like that was just a bit of a waste of page. I don't know what you think about it.
I mean, I understand the purpose of it from, construction of the story, because, you need something to motivate Isabel to give Rook her real name, and Gadfly needs that to happen, so he sixed his niece on her, which is why this happens, presumably. But, without it, Isabel wouldn't be motivated enough to want to give Rook her name, so then she would still be way more affected by the Alder King and everything else.
Yeah.
So she would be less safe and probably wouldn't survive long enough to kill him. And Gadfly knows this, and that's why he, lets this happen. But this is kind of like, yeah, the author also knows this needs to be happening. So this happens, but it doesn't feel organic.
See, you people don't know this, but after being done with the book, I sent Ren a meme of this guy in the stadium who's like very unhappy with the outcome of the sports game. And I was like, I'm not happy about this whole Gadfly redemption mastermind situation. So you just being like, okay, listen, Gadfly needed this to happen already made me go...
I think it's funny that you're like, oh, his redemption. It's like, yeah, he doesn't need a redemption. He's not trying for redemption, right? He's like, I need this. I know. It's so funny to me because I was like, oh, I love him. And you were like, I feel so betrayed when you were... near the ending, and I was like, just wait till the end, and you were like, I'm still mad.
I still don't like it. Yeah, I was like, I still don't like it. I'm sorry.
You don't have to like him. You don't have to. I love horrible men. So, for me, this is very appealing. I love a man who sucks.
You know who I had in my mind for the end for Gadfly, and I just couldn't get it out of my head. And I think it's in part because part of the Spring Court in my head is also inspired by the Barbie movies. It's this guy. It's this I forgot his name. It's like the guy with the long nose and the gray hair, who's like one of the villains. Could be in one of the Barbie movies. I think it's
in the Barbie and like the.
I think it's Swan Lake,
the
right?
Handmaid. Oh,
or is it? Is it
I'm
Poppers?
Thinking of a different guy.
Is it the? He has like the purple
one with
coat.
The princess and the pauper, right? The one where the one girl is like a dressmaker and the other one's a princess, and.
I just have this guy with the purple cloak in my head, It's just...
This is really funny to me.
That's what I had in mind for Gadfly for the rest of the story. So I was like, fucking idiot, bro. I know you love him. I know you do.
This is it's so funny to me how mad you are at him, because I'm like, can you imagine being ancient and you see everything's rotting away because this dumb bitch on his dumb throne doesn't want to do anything? And you're like, okay, I have to solve this somehow. So for centuries, you keep going to fucking painters hoping one is the right one because you saw something in the future and you're like, this could work, but maybe it won't. And then these dumb teenage bitches almost fuck it up. I think... Listen, I love seeing evil. I love seeing morally extremely questionable gay people, and he is one of those to me.
Nah, bro. I was like, at first I was like, Gadfly sounds like a fun dude. And I was like, now he's abducting us, more or less. I was like, now I don't know how to feel about the Spring Court. He's kind of, whatever. I was like, he's too mischievous. He's sitting on something. And I was like, you are also sitting on something that you're not telling me. Right? So I was like, oh. And then when it got revealed, I was just like really, I was just like, the meme, like, I don't know how to feel about this. And then when you have the conclusion, right? And then he has the audacity to just show up in front of the house and be like,
well, yeah. I think it's fun. I think it's also fun that Isabel's just like, I hate you, leave. And he's like, okay. He's just having a great time because his plan worked. To me, he's like, my little fairy version of Victor Vale. He's like a crazy bitch with like a crazy plan, and it works. And he's just like, yeah, cool. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to kill kings.
I cannot reconcile Victor Vale and this man in my head. I'm sorry.
This is really funny because he's also described. He's tall and thin, has like white blonde hair and the blue eyes. I was like, Victor vibes
like the guy from the Barbie movie.
No, he has white hair.
White blonde hair. It's all the same. Barbie
Listen,
blonde to me.
You have your horse boy and I have my evil gay man, and we can just agree to disagree because I personally just actually don't really care that much for Rick. I think he's really boring. I just don't think he has a strong characterization because the story is like, oh, he's arrogant, but he's not arrogant, and what is left? Oh, he's a nice boy, and inexplicably, I think that's also the thing that I just find kind of distasteful about it, is like, oh, he's just the only good one. All the fairies, they don't experience human emotions, you know? They're all unfeeling husks of people that just imitate emotion. But Rooks, he's just a real boy. You know, he's just not like the other ones. He's nice and feels emotion and is sorry and is a good, nice guy. And that's not interesting. That's just not very interesting.
I was like, isn't it convenient? That was one thing I thought. I was like, if Gadfly is so fucking pissed at these two people, right, that they fell in love, why? Because since Gadfly knows a lot of shit, why did he pick Rook to go and, like, get his portrait done, right?
Because he's not pissed. He's just doing performance art.
Because he was like, we've seen this fucker fall in love with a human already. This is, like, perhaps not the best.
This is not surprising.
Yeah. Why is he like, gosh darn, these teenagers back again?
I mean, it's also... that's also extremely funny on rereading it, where Isabel's just like, wow, he inadvertently told me how to destroy the Green Well. He didn't know what I was going to do.
I have to be...
just like, Isabel, baby girl, don't worry about it.
I have to be so honest, I did not remember him saying that. Or I just immediately deleted it out of my head, because it was like, it's just, you know, like one of these quirky things people say. And then when she's like, oh, this is such an essential piece of information, I'm not going to drop this thing into the well, I was like, oh, yeah, I knew that. Sure, slay, go girl. Like, I completely forgot.
It was really funny because when she was he was like frozen. He looked way older. Like there was calculations going behind this. He didn't expect me to do this, and in my brain I was just like, no. What he's thinking is like, Death Note voice, all according to Keikaku. Keikaku means plan. That's the energy that he's bringing to this.
He went all Light Yagami on the whole thing. I think maybe that's just a thing where I guess in a lot of stories I in general don't enjoy the mastermind trope, I guess. Like in the same way where, well, not directly in the same way, but in some parts in Throne of Glass, when Aelin just whips out another super secret plan she had for like 2 weeks that she executed perfectly. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know, like, it's just fucking stop it. With the mastermind thing, at some point it's like, okay, do our characters have any fucking agency at all? Is everything mediated? And maybe Gadfly does say there's lots of different futures, and he can't see like which future it is, and he tries to nudge her into, or like he can't know if he's gonna get his cute little outfit shat on today or not, you know, that kind of stuff. But sometimes I'm like, oh well, okay, I guess we've told you it was a mastermind. You know, the Taylor Swift song starts playing in my head. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I think that's what it is for me.
I think in a better book, I think the foreshadowing would have been stronger. Most of what we get is just Rook being like, this is a really strong enchantment. And I don't think Gadfly is a guy who would just do that to be nice. This is weird. Mm-hmm. But we don't really think about Gadfly much at that point. So we're just like, well, maybe he just thinks Isabel is a banging artist and he really wants her to stay around because he loves portraits. We don't know.
Literally, I was like, you know, he's just a patron of the arts.
I mean, I think the thing is that I think the mastermind is more acceptable when it's not, you know, the main character who's hiding things from us.
Oh, yes.
And especially with a plot like this where you'd be like, yeah, how the fuck would a human kill the fairy king who's been there for millennia, right? So it only works if someone is already prepping things and setting things up correctly so that it works out.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it is kind of necessary for everything to work out. But I think there's also the thing where just a lot of strings just aren't connected enough for the audience to feel
yeah.
We know Hemlock finds Rook way too easily. Okay. At the end, you're like, okay, yeah, I know Hemlock's probably working with Gadfly, who can tell her exactly where they are. Because, she needs to chase them in the right direction. But as a reader, you're just like, okay. And you have the scene where Hemlock is, sitting in a tree talking to Sleepy Rook. And Isabel's just like, oh, interesting. And Hemlock's like, it has reached all the courts. You're just the only fucking idiot who hasn't fucking noticed. But we don't actually see any rot anywhere except for the summer court. All the explosion of rot in the spring court only happens when the Alder King is invoked there, not because it has always been there, and we don't even have Isabel go, well, I mean, I guess some rot is normal for autumn, but these woods do also seem a little weird, and I think it's also just, there is just this one kind of rot we get, right? Yeah. We don't... And that's fine, but I feel like if you wanted to show how, summer is killing itself, there could also just be copses of dead trees that are just dried out. There's more kind of dysfunctional death that can happen in the woods other than things are rotting, because that's actually pretty normal and
I have
necessary.
To like a short interjection, I actually was like, this feels very autumn to me, especially because of all the mushrooms. I was like, oh yeah, that's a mushroom thing to do, which tends to happen early fall, late summer, So I was like, is like Rook's court, bleeding into the other courts? Is something happening here? But I was like, oh no, it's just another rot, a different kind of rot. So you could have gone more creative in that way. That's true.
Yeah, but one thing because I had already known what was going to be happening, so I was actively looking for traces of rot anywhere else, but they weren't there, and I was like, this is such a missed opportunity. Yeah. That's so sad. Because it's such an important theme that connects to the whole, stagnation is bad and will destroy you, either from the inside out or through someone else, and that's why it's actually not good for you to become a fae, because it doesn't actually do anything but preserve your exterior while your insides just are gone, right? Yeah. Like, there are parallel lines between Isabel not wanting to become a fairy and seeing what happened to Aster because of drinking out of the Green Well, and what has happened to the Alder King and all the whole of the Summer Court, and in extension to other courts, because of that kind of stagnation. Like, that's it's going in the same direction, but I also feel like it never really quite connected. We do have the Well, and we have the Alder King, but we don't... It's not tied up with a bow, It's... Yeah. You can see that it's meant to go together, but something's missing. It's not
It's still in the packing stage. It's still in the stage where you're, figuring out the tape and how much paper you need.
Unser I ist nicht getüpfelt, okay?
Yeah. The cherry is not on top. The cherry is still in the
cherries
tin
are
can.
Still somewhere else. Yeah, we're missing our cherries.
We're missing the cherries.
And that's I think why it's such a debut feeling novel to me, because there are a lot of good ideas, and in comparison to other newer debut novels, it is a much rounder narrative where I feel like, okay, even the conclusion we get fits with the themes that are set up. Like, this is a good story. It could have just used more elaboration. But still, even as it is good. Not like other stories where I feel like, oh, this needed deep editing before it was even okay. This is the bones of a story, but most of it's not there.
I was trying to see who the publisher was. I don't know.
Simon and Schuster.
Yeah, the imprint is McElderry Books, which I have no idea what that is. But yeah, it does say an imprint of Simon and Schuster Children's Publishing Division. But I've never heard of that specific imprint. But yeah, it's I'm not a publishing girly anyways.
No, but it also came out before publishing fired a bunch of editors and like increased their workload and lowered the amounts of edits authors are getting and stuff. So I feel like this still got more love in the process than other books that came out later. This was one where I was like, for a debut, it's not bad at all. I had a great time. Especially when I read it the first time, I was like, oh, this was so good. I had such a good time.
I had a great time, Of all the things where I was like, I still had a great fucking time. One thing I loved, and I actually did look up, and I was trying to see whether she just researched it well or anything, but she actually, in an interview she had with, with meganrightnow.com in September 2017, she says that she actually has a background in portrait art, which is why she so invested in the accuracy of the whole craft in the book. But yeah, the painting and the love for the painting and the pigments and the actual there's an actual, somebody sat down and either already had the knowledge through personal experience or researched the process for painting. That was nice. You do not have to wonder what kind of painting she does, like we did with Faerie.
We know exactly what she does. She does extremely highly realistic portraiture.
Yeah.
Which, if you want comparison, probably like Baroque art, where you have the hyper details with, everything, all the extravagance you can imagine. That's kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah, and it fits very well because it feels very real with just a couple of little things she adds here and there, like the linen oil and stuff. So it's nice. I really enjoyed that.
No, it was. On the other side, there were some things where it was just like, okay, whimsy also was not entirely thought through. Because even if there are a lot of artisans who make, who gain favors and magic, get a spell from the Fae for their work, they still need money to live. There should be a bustling town full of people who produce normal stuff, especially I kind of chuckled at the dressmaker who was just one woman alone who produced insanely elaborate gowns, and I was just thinking, I don't think she can do that. I think she needs a full workshop full of people to even produce one of those dresses in a year. And if she wants several all the time, I think she needs 50 employees at least. All this work is not done by one woman.
It's it depends on what weird, abstract, fantastical time we are in. Do we already have the basic sewing machines, right? Is everything still done by hand? We're not very set on which technological level we have in a book at all. I had my little chuckle moment when Isabel was thinking about what would happen if she were to die right now, right? If she did drop of the surface of the earth, and she's but we do have a couple of chickens that lay a lot of eggs because of that one enchantment. It's girl, I can't survive just on chicken eggs.
I also thought that okay, but you have to make money somehow. To pay other people for things like food and for someone to fix your door when there's a storm or something. There are many services people need to live that would not appeal. When she talks about the art supply store, basically, that's out of the way and it doesn't have enchantments and it's kind of dark and dreary because it's not visited by the Fae. I'm just okay, but how many artists go shopping there all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do they get money if all they paint is for Fae who just give them enchantments? What's the economy doing, man? What's the economy doing?
I did also have to laugh a little, but this is like a Dragon Age meme, but there's like this one dwarf who's like, can enchant stuff for you. It's like become a meme where it's just like, enchantment? You know, that's how I felt when reading the book. You know, the humans are like, you know, open hands like, enchantment? Please, can I have some? Like, yeah, like get a money tree or something.
I also had to laugh at the eternally golden wheat fields. I was like, wait, you're not harvesting that and planting new wheat? It's just, what?
Maybe
what do you mean?
it's like you know, in Minecraft, right? If you don't harvest your wheat, it'll just be there forever, right? There's no seasons or anything like that. I mean, there are seasons in Minecraft, but like, right? It's like biome based, not if you have your golden wheat, you have your golden wheat. And then they just...
Yeah, but people grow wheat to eat it.
Not in Whimsy. They eat their chicken eggs.
No, that was just it was kind of. That's why I thought I understand that the vibes are, oh, we're in a time bubble where nothing ever changes. But I promise you, even during summer, I mean, honestly, if you have eternal summer, you're kind of
fucked.
Blessed.
You don't... Oh,
no,
blessed?
Because you have a lot of sun. They seemingly get a lot of rain, so it's warm and sunny. So you can harvest your shit, plant new stuff. It grows quickly. You can harvest it, plant new, right? It's the perfect growing season.
In my head, I was like, if the time is like stopped, it doesn't get to harvest time in the autumn. So that's why you're fucked.
But the time's not stopped because people grow up, right?
Because as soon as you said, you know, Whimsy is this little bubble where time stops, I had to think of Stephen King's The Dome. I was like, what if outside of Whimsy there's like this huge, like, all kinds of armies of the world like trying to get in?
Outside Whimsy, there's an aircraft carrier because the outside world has moved on. But Whimsy doesn't know because they can't get in.
There's just, you know, all the Fae are just LARPers that have taken over. I thought it was quite charming that there was, like, you know, the Fae are like, wait, fuck, you need to eat. When Brooke is like... When she can simply be like, oh, you know, and if I don't eat at some point, I will die. And he's like, you will die now, right? And then in the same way, this like very simple thing gets completely forgotten in Whimsy in general. Like, oh yeah, you need to acquire food.
This is also something the book forgets about, but I didn't. I noticed. They're in the forest, right?
Yeah.
They stop because Isabel's like, I need to piss. And he's like, okay. Wild hunt appears. They get chased.
Yeah.
Rook creates a safe dome for them out of trees. Isabel never goes to piss. Never, ever. They just dropped this.
She didn't never pee? Does it. I thought she peed and then the wild hunt appeared.
No, she was like, no, I can't. Not while he's looking. Oh, it doesn't want to come out. Whoa, wait, the wild hunt's coming? Oh, never mind. She doesn't get to pee. And then she never does it afterwards either. And I'm just like, she's so fucked. Her bladder. She needs to go piss, girl.
She's gotta have, like she has damage to her organs because of holding back so hard.
She's just... Her bladder's so fun. I was just like, I was waiting for it because I was like, well, you made such a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
But it's just forgotten. And the same with like the eating, which is also just addressed once and then never again. And that was just a moment where I went, go piss, girl. Go piss, girl. What are we doing? It was such a funny moment because you drew my attention to it. You can't just not let her pee.
I was about to say, you pointed it out. You can't take it away now. I did, though. I was very proud of Isabel in that one moment where she does see Hemlock sit in the tree, and then later on she does tell Rook about it, because I was like, I swear, girl, if you don't
If
tell
she
him
doesn't mention
that
it.
Hemlock was sitting in the tree being like...
But they don't do anything with the information either.
No, but at least she, reported.
Yeah,
I thought,
she does
I swear, if
vocalize
you
it.
don't tell him, I'm gonna be mad with you. 'Cause that'd be just plain stupid. There were lots of moments in the books where I was like, aw. I got, like, carried over the parts where I was like, okay, this doesn't make too much sense. But I'm enjoying myself so much, I'm just gonna pop.
That's what I think. I think the narrative is, like, good enough, especially on the first time. But if you read it critically a second time, I feel like... There's the thing. I think if it was just a little stronger, if only one of the many aspects where I feel like you're walking down a stair and there's a step missing. If just one of them didn't have this, the other ones would recede in the back so much more, because then you're just concentrating on the one thing that really, really, really works. But like this, I'm caught up being like, wait, here's the thing. Wait, there's the thing. Wait, there's another thing. And it was still an enjoyable read. The vibes are immaculate. It's very fun.
Oh, the vibes are so good.
The vibes are great. I think many books have a strong beginning and then flounder near the end. I think this is the opposite. I think it gets much stronger at the end, which then leaves you going out of a book with a much better feeling. Even if the start is not that strong, but it's fun throughout, and then you have a banger ending. That works. You go out of it and you go, yeah, that was a good book. I had a good time. Yeah, I like this. And you kind of forget about all the things that bothered you, and you're just left going, yeah, I like this book. No, this was fun. I like it. Yeah.
I have to say, about the, like, I agree with you, about the ending of the book. I thought, you guys are so fucking dumb. This dagger isn't so one of you kills the other. This is for the Erlkönig. Like, come on, use your brains. I swear to fucking God.
Listen, there was a reason Gadfly faked his death, and then his niece helped you out, and Hemlock was also helping. Come on, guy. He's clearly scheming. Why would he... Isabel's just so mad. She's like, no, he's taunting us. This is another one of his taunts. And I'm just like, Isabel, use your brain. But I love that Gadfly correctly identified. Now, once she's mad, she'll be super mad. And then she'll feel way better about coming up with new ideas to try and show me. And all will work out how I want it. That's great.
But yeah, there was one moment where I was like, girl.
Isabel,
I
baby
swear.
girl. But I love that Rook is also like, I'm killing myself immediately. Never mind.
He's so... What I liked about Rook was that he was a bit stupid. But it's not like, as in, like, dumb, right? But part of it was because he's a fairy. And he's, like, just used to different dimensions of, rules and stuff.
Yeah.
And now he's, like, also confronted with, oh no, I fall in love again. Like, Jesus Christ, these blonde, brown-eyed women, they're coming for me left and right. And women say, I don't know what's happening. Right? I thought that was quite funny.
It's so funny to me. He's a lover boy. He's like, a nice girl, never mind, I'm in love. And then it turns out she's a monster fucker, and he's like, never mind, I'm gone. I'm gonna kill myself for her. Never mind.
He's like, I will make her not like me anymore by showing her my decrepit, innards that I have under my pretty boy shell.
Yeah. It's like, once she sees how ugly I really am, she'll also run away screaming. And Isabel's
she goes finger and teeth like, I mean, his gigantic, weirdly dark eyes do kind of do it for me. He's like, no, what are you doing?
Like,
you're so
and his sharp teeth.
His high,
they gave me a thrill I didn't want to examine further. And it's just like, Isabel, it's okay to be a monster fucker. It's okay.
His teeth are out, but he still kisses me so gently. It's like,
right? It's just, aww.
No, that's why I loved Rook, because he wasn't... Rook, to me, felt like just a dude. I really liked that.
Yeah.
He was a competent just a dude, He still was a prince, but just a dude as well.
Yeah, I think that's the point that trips me up, because I'm just like, okay, why is he special? Why does he get to be the only fairy who's just like a person when every other fairy is denied personhood in the same way, you know? And I know this is historically bound up in fairy lore, because when Christians came to they were like, oh, these are mischievous spirits, they do not have a soul, and therefore they do not experience emotion, then they cannot feel love, they cannot experience salvation, they're just a lower tier of being. And this is just something fairy lore carries with it in the modern times, because this is just baggage it has.
Look at me getting educated today.
It's just kind of sad that the story doesn't examine this at all, because why does Rook get to feel and seemingly be a person, right? This kind of... Again, I know this is not at all where the story is going, but if you live in the real world, you know a lot of groups of people who have been treated as if they do not experience emotion to the same degree, as if they're just kind of empty and soulless and lesser, just because they lived differently and experienced things differently than the people who interacted with them the first time. So it just is like... Because in the story, really, it's just like, okay, being a fae just kind of is worse. Yeah. Even the fae we talk to are like, oh yeah, we are totally lacking in comparison to you. We cannot feel, we cannot make art. We are empty shells that just persist for eternity until we're killed. And it's like, I don't like this. You can't do this and say this is how the world works and then show me Rook, who's just a guy.
Yeah.
He's just not like the other fae, which is like, he shouldn't be. Either all of them have feelings or none of them do. You can't play this with me.
I felt like it was especially interesting because when we meet Lark, she does feel like the mischievous little fae that actually has a fun time being a fairy, right? And then you're like, okay, maybe it's because she's a kid. But since, quote-unquote, the fairies don't have anything else to do, right, except for play pranks and enjoy the arts, it feels like they wouldn't lose that energy. They shouldn't be all, oh, well, me, I'm a fae, haha. And because also one time, when they find out that they are in love with each other, they do, I forgot her name, but she insults Rook in a way of like, stop mooning at her like that. Like she's one of us, like she's on our level. So it's like, what is it then? Are you to be pitied because you can't create art and like eat nice food and stuff? Or are you not to be pitied and are you on a higher level because you're fae and you can do all these crazy, make up your mind.
The thing is also that it's just patently untrue that they don't experience emotion, because we have these fae express anger and disgust and fear and like even existential ennui, and it's like those are also feelings. These are shit feelings. They're not the good ones, they're not the fun ones, but you can't make me watch them be irrational and clearly emotional and then go, oh no, they don't experience emotions, actually. Yeah. They're just empty simulacra of people. And it's just like, but why? Why would they exist as just this?
It also does get said by Isabel herself, that is like an explanation, that it's not that they don't feel emotions, but it's like, in the way of description, it feels like a less pure or like less deserving version of the emotion. I think it was like, for example, how they experienced joy, and it was more the joy of like seeing somebody else you don't like not doing well, right? And instead of, I'm like,
but those are extremely human emotions, because a lot of humans experience especially these ugly feelings.
Yeah, and it's just, just that the Fae only experience these ugly feelings. But it's weird. It's definitely...
And I think that's also one of the things where I feel like the book is kind of... It's not ready to come out of the oven just yet. It could have baked a little longer. Mm-hmm. Because I also feel in the same way that there's like, okay, what actually is the Fae's deal? Do they not have emotions? Do they have emotions, but they think they're cringe, so they suppress them? What's the deal there? But the real question, if you come out and say, the Fae cannot do craft, they cannot create things, this is opening a whole can of worms. Because the question of what is art, who can make art, what counts as art, is such a minefield.
I was like, how did they get their cute thrones and like cathedrals and stuff?
Do we argue that shaping a tree according to your will is not craft just because you do it by magic and not by slowly deforming it while it grows with your hands? And also, are we saying Fae can do... We know, like, we just had Rook almost die because he was turning the spit over the fire. And, this... Well, not, cooking, but a similar level of tool use is observed in crows and ravens even. They can use tools. They can make stuff.
Yeah.
They do stuff for fun. Where is the line? What can Fae do? What not? Is not Aster producing memorable lines of, speaking poetic lines to Isabel not also art? Is it only art? Does it only become craft once you write it down? Are poems just craft when they're written down, not when they're performed? You can't do this to me. I have questions. I need answers.
For a moment, I was like, because in my head I was so Alex Astor pilled. I was like, are you gonna say that are you gonna pull a Lightlark quote of like egg yolk or something and be like, that is also art?
No, that's not
the ex-author Astor in the book, yeah. I did wonder about that too. I was like, okay, this is getting a bit too much, because I was like, I didn't expect Rook to already, because I'd be like, okay, right, they don't have to eat at all, so the cooking thing is kind of whack anyways, but I would expect the art of cooking to be like, Remy in Ratatouille, like the actual choop choop,
right,
being a little chef,
the mechanical action of, right. Imagine this is set in ambiguous past times, whatever, but imagine you put Rook in a modern kitchen. At what point is it cooking? Can he turn on the stove? Can he stir? At what point is it art or just mechanics? Are we saying the machines that put together cars are making craft? Is this something fairies couldn't do? Could they control the machines but couldn't, drill stuff by themselves?
Fairies are Gen AI users. They put in the prompts. And then they actually haven't created the art, but they go, here you go.
Right,
yeah, he would be arrested by the time he puts on the apron, because it's performative art to even pretend that he's going to cook.
But that's also the thing, right? Because it's about craft, not about art. Where it would be like, I assume acting doesn't count because it doesn't produce
or
tangible
dancing. They are the ball,
right?
After all.
Right, they are dancing, but they cannot perform music, so they're dancing in silence. But also, they're Fae, so couldn't they enchant birds to be their orchestra?
Yeah.
So, I don't understand what even counts as craft, which is a problem if a main draw of your story is this is something that divides Fae and humans cleanly, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm like, they can't write, but they can read, but is all writing craft? Is me writing down a grocery list craft? Is the act of writing itself craft? But I bet a Fae could stand there and...
No, I mean Aster in the book, okay? I'm not...
Sorry, yes.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ be praised. What was that?
I had to cough.
I thought you were like, like getting ready to drop the sickest fact on earth. Okay, I'm so sorry. Continue.
There was a frog in my mouth. Don't worry about it.
Is that art? Or is that just a craft?
Is it, right? If I stand there and, draw something into the ground with my foot just inattentively while I'm waiting, and then somebody comes along and is like, wow, that's art. Does the Fae disintegrate? And it's like, oh wow, fuck, I didn't notice. Right? I feel like it would make more sense that it, just that they can't really grasp the concepts and right. I like the idea, right, that Fae cannot create this kind of stuff that's totally removed from nature, where there are so many steps of changing up stuff and then creating something new from it, because they are part of nature, and as such that's just not in their repertoire. But the fact that it's like an instant kill if they try is like that's a little extreme, right?
Imagine tricking a Fae into like creating art. It'd be so funny.
Me handing a Fae, one of those pen tablets that doesn't have a screen, so they don't know that, something comes out of it, and they're just doodling, and then they're like, they just fall to dust, and I'm like, damn, now I gotta clean that up, never mind.
And she's like, can you sign this here? And then they just sign, like an artwork. It's like, oh, now you did it. It's like, no.
But yeah, I think that's, like, conceptually I really like this, but I feel like it's not quite right. I think there's a bit missing, so it's a round concept to work with.
Yeah. What I thought about, where I was like, but this would be definitely considered like a craft, is they do have weapons. Like, Rook has a sword, so like, did he have to barter for that sword? Did he go to a human blacksmith? Or like, I
think they buy them, yeah.
Also with an enchantment? Because that blacksmith makes a lot of money. Like,
I mean, the only...
not money, enchantments.
Right. It's like, the enchantment I want is, turn my table to gold, thank you. That's all I need right now.
So, like, unlimited materials, I guess. Can we do that? Is that a cheat code?
Yeah,
no?
Can like my chicken be immortal and lay iron eggs? Thank you.
I don't want to have to buy coal anymore. Like, it's getting ridiculous. Can you guys just...
Yeah, can just a bucket of, like, coal materialize in front of my door every week or something? Thanks, man. That's
an average-sized bucket. Thank you very much. I gotta be specific. That I thought was fun.
Yeah, no, that was
having to be specific about the wishes.
The rules lawyering your wishes is great. That is the fun of fairy stories. They can't lie, but they will try to trick you at every corner. And I also think that was kind of a missed opportunity with Rook, because he was like, no, I'm just a good guy. I would never want to hurt people.
No, sweetie, I would never. Yeah.
It's...
Overall, it was very enjoyable for me.
Yeah, no, I have like a few little gripes where I'm just like, the more I think, the more I'm like, but what? Because even with the enchantments, I think it feels wrong that a more powerful Fae can just break them. Because they should, right? I think it feels wrong that a Fae enchantment can just be brute force destroyed if you're a powerful Fae. Because then it's like, okay, but then what are the rules of the magic if somebody can just come along and be like, no, nope. I don't like
I wonder
this one.
if it's like the enchantment itself has to be strong, or the maker of the enchantment has to be strong. Like, which is it? Because it would feel oddly inconvenient, or like, if you're like a very, like both sides. If you're a very powerful Fae, and you make an enchantment that's like low level something, right? And people can just break it because it's such a low level enchantment. So you have to overpower every single fucking enchantment that you make, right? And make it something ridiculously powerful. Right. Or on the other side, you have this one fucking fae that runs around, and because they're so strong, they can just, you know, like, beep, beep, every single other enchantment, just for shits and giggles.
Like, haha, good fuck. You know, it's... That's what I was thinking at the end with, like, oh yeah, the Alder King can just break your protection enchantment on the house. And it's like, then what's it for? Like, sorry, but if anyone...
I didn't see that.
Right, if a strong guy can just come along and negate your enchantments, what is the point? The point of fairy enchantments typically is that unless they have a clause that's like, and it can be undone this and this way, or you find a way around it, it's just permanent. It's just there now. That's just how it is now. You're just stuck with that. And you also have this in fairy stories where weaker fairies trick stronger fairies into agreeing to something, or, you know, being bound by rules, so the little one can be annoying as they want, and the stronger one is like, oh, I can't even kill that guy because I promised. Fuck me. Yeah. Right?
That's also why... Yeah. That's also why in the beginning Isabel is so... Because from what it feels like, from what Isabel says in the beginning, is that these are permanent, and that's why any enchantment going wrong, because it wasn't properly worded, is such an embarrassment to the fairy who did it, actually. Right. Not to the person that got talked into this enchantment. No. The fairy that did it, because it's so embarrassing, because they can't lift it themselves either. Because word that has been spoken, right? So it's like, oh, this is really fun. You know, everybody kind of has a bad time when the enchantments go wrong.
Right, and the thing is, like, it wouldn't even hurt the ending if you're like, oh, she cannot be harmed while she's inside the house. The Alder King can just be like, house gone, now you're fucked. Right? It's not like he's too weak, right? He can work around that. He can just be like, well, if your house is gone, then you're not inside the house anymore.
Yeah.
Problem solved. So I don't know why we have to have the breaking of enchantments in here when I feel like they could have been worked around all the ones we have. So it's like, wait. Especially with the introduction of the May and March one, where it's like, they can't undo it, and it seems these kids are indestructible now. Oopsie. Well.
Which I did think was very funny. At first I was like, why are you not worried about, like, the kid hurting itself that way? It's like,
For a second, like, honestly, right now, while we were talking about it, I was like, why didn't they try chucking the kids at the Alder King? If they're indestructible.
Okay, so our great plan is to throw... You know, in Dragon Age Inquisition, someone does throw a goat at your castle. So it's like they dare you to a duel by throwing a goat. And they did animate that, so it's really fun. It's just taking this baby goat in the book. Oh no, it's a child now. Taking the child, just yeeting them.
And you even have two. One he catches, and the second one, surprise attack from the back.
It's like in this, haha, I thought you tricked us. Rook, go! The second child. I mean, the children would be up for it. They would love it. March and May would be like...
A second child has hit the Alder King.
Oh my god! Yeah, but no, those children would be up for it. That's a different kind of book. God, breathe!
We're very serious.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I was worried for a second. Your face is very red. It's like, please take a breath. There was... yeah. It was... At times it was a bit dumb. What I liked about this book was... So something I do a lot of times, you get angry with me when I do it, but I do it anyways, is like I just let I just let my brain go. You know, I'm like, I don't care, I'm just vibing. That's how I survived pleasantly the Bridge Kingdom, right? So it's like, it's a fun thing I do. And with this book, it didn't feel like I have to let my brain go in order for me to like enjoy it at all. A lot of times it was like, that's a bit weird, or it doesn't make the perfect sense, but I don't care. I can let it go, because I still feel like I'm in good hands. Because then you had these moments where it was like, oh, this is actually good. We're still in the good book, everyone. Yeah. Like,
I want to be clear. Like, all my nitpicks, it's just, I think it's a perfectly solid book. I think it works, and I had a good time reading it. But I'm also someone who thinks about stuff a lot, and once I find one thing, I start picking at it, and then there are other loose, bits, and I'm like, oh, what's under here? And then there's a lot of thoughts that go into it, but at the end, it's still a book that I think delivers the story it's set out to do, does so successfully, and even if there are many points where I'm like, could have been better, doesn't mean it's not good.
Yeah.
It's, right? And again, right before this, I read a book that I thought was, like, incredibly well written, so it's obviously gonna, be a different vibe for me. But then if that was my first book after ACOWAR,
like ups and downs over here. I have to say, adding on to that, I think, knowing you for quite a while now, I feel like the kind of critique you mentioned in this review is different to what you would critique or what you would like to improve upon in a genuinely bad book. Yeah. Right? So this is like you seeing things where you're like, come on, man, like this.
You almost had it. It was almost, right? You were almost perfect. Just a little.
It's not like Jesus Christ, where do we even start, right? No. It's more of a, come on, how did you not see that?
It's like, just a little, and it's like, to me, it's like, oh, these are small things, but I also recognize that if you wanted to change these, there would be so much rewriting, so much editing work involved, that I totally get being like, it's fine, it works, you can do better in the next book, because I also think you don't have to keep working on the same book over and over until it's perfect.
Yes.
And we can see in her later books, I mean, I like this well enough that I got Sorcery of Thorns on, like, the moment it was out. I didn't even really read the blurb actively. I was like, oh no, sounds fun, looks fun. I liked her writing before. I wasn't waiting for reviews to come out if it's good or bad. I was like, no, I liked the last thing she wrote. I'm gonna give it another try. And also the cover's a banger, so even
I was about to say she has Charlie on her side.
It's an artist I really like, so even if it's bad, But I feel like she has improved in every book she has put out. So I think it's good that this came out the way it was, and that she didn't sit on this and work, but that she then moved on to other things and went better. And I think that's great. And again, I think this is perfectly solid book. And again, I think the 300 pages, if it had been longer, a lot of things could have been a bit stronger. Not like 500 pages, just like 350, just a little more.
Yeah.
But it's already good. And sometimes it also works in a book's favor if it's shorter, because then you're just they could have added more, but what we had was good. It's not like reading a 500-page book where you go, this could have been 300 pages. We could have had less, and it would have been better.
we could have been done with this a long time ago.
So it really is just like, no, it's...
I will also say that having read this, I said it in the beginning, I was surprised it was her debut, because it did read very nicely. Again, I read it in German. I don't know how much of an impact that had. But also, while reading that, I was also like, Vespertine is still my favorite for a couple of very obvious reasons. But you do see her improvement a lot. And you could also see that actually with Sorcery of Thorns, and then, what was it? Stories of Thorn Manor? Like the novella. Yeah. You could also see that there was an improvement, right? Because she did have that Vespertine in the middle, and then the novella came out. So I'm excited to see what else she's gonna write.
Yeah.
I hope, why not, Margaret? I'm here. just give us a shout. Just say when the next book come out. I'd be delighted to read it.
I also want to say I am very fond of her work simply for the fact that she is writing standalone fantasy, which is so rare. There are so many things that are series where I go, this could have been one book. This didn't need to be 3. Mm-hmm. And I think it requires a certain kind of skill and restraint. And I'm just glad there are standalones because I do have a really soft spot for them. Series are also great. There are kinds of stories that I think can only be told over a longer period of time in a different kind of format. Yeah. But I'm so happy when I find a good standalone. I am so delighted. I love when someone can just start a story and end it and it ties together. That it makes me so happy. And in especially YA fantasy, there are so many series. Yeah. And so much, I feel like adult books have a lot more standalones than YA. And I'm just happy about that. I'm just like, yeah, Margaret, keep going, keep writing fun standalones. Yeah. I'm here for this. I like this.
I mean, if she ever does come out with a series, I will be a slut for that as well. But I do agree. I think also in general in YA, or like on the other way around, adult, it's much easier to just be like, hey guys, this is my one setting, have fun. And in YA, there's a lot of, due to the younger readership, there's a lot of higher attachment to the characters and the need to get more from these same characters in the same world.
You can just
and I can also imagine that
Cassandra Clare and just never stop.
Yeah, I can also imagine that the publisher side looks a little bit different, right? Where the publishers are like, this is gonna be bang. We want 3 of them. So you're like...
Right. Even if you just write a standalone, they're like, hey, can you just write more of this? Yeah. Like, just keep going.
Just exactly like this. Yeah.
This is actually something... I don't know if it was always planned as a series. I have never looked into this, but Victoria Schwab... has a young adult, well, it's supposed to be a trilogy, but so far only the first 2 are out and the third one has not been announced and the second came out years ago, so, theoretical trilogy. But I only read the first one and it read like a standalone to me. So
I was Vicious?
No, The Archive, that's a YA one.
You didn't say the title, I think.
Oh, sorry. No, but Vicious is not YA. That's why I wasn't even thinking of it. But, it's called The Archive, the first one. And I felt like The Archive was such an obvious standalone with such a obvious ending. And then it just kept going. Because, like, obviously in the setting you could do more. But I just sat there and went, what would you even be doing? And then I saw that the third one hadn't even been announced and the second one had been out for years. And I was like, I'm never reading these. I'm happy with the first one. That was solid. I have only had bad experiences with reading a V.E. Schwab book and going, wow, this could be a totally solid standalone. Finding out there's more, reading more and going, wow, I didn't need to read the other ones. The first one was like the good one.
I was about to say, it happened at least twice,
I'm never touching Vengeful. I've only heard bad things. It has happened to me with Darker Shade of Magic, where I know it was always conceptualized as a trilogy, but oh my god, I don't like... The second one's okay, and the third one, I read for one character, but so much of it, I'm just like, you could bin this. This was not good. Where I was like, no, this could have been... Like, I could have just read the first one and been fine. And then... What is it? I don't know if it had... I think... Wait, what is it called? Monsters of Verity, where the first one, This Savage Song, is really good. And then it has a second one, Our Dark Duet. Obviously also kind of intended to be together, but the second one's so much worse and the first one ends well enough where I'm like, you can just drop the second. You can just read the first. It's fine. You don't need to bother. Yeah. I don't know what they do when they write, but like the first ones are like solid and then they keep going and I'm like, V. Schwab, you can stop. You can stop. Just put out standalones. They're way better than the series.
I have to say, I still am tempted by Vengeful. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna wait until the third book comes out, and then I'm gonna be like, I might read the both of them. But we'll see.
We have different tastes. It is perfectly reasonable that you're gonna have a good time, and you read it and you're like, oh yeah, Ren would have hated this.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I'll
as soon
like,
as when I found out that it's a lot about like Eli and Eli's past, I was like, oh yeah, Ren wouldn't like this at all. But Eli is my boy. Let's go.
I mean, Eli is also like fun, but we don't need another book about him where he's in prison.
You don't need another book about it.
No, yes, I don't need it, so I'm never touching it.
So you're never touching it. Yeah. But no, to get back to Margaret, it is really nice that these are standalones, and that they're not ridiculously long as well.
Yeah.
Because their other books aren't also super long.
I think Enchantment of Ravens was one of the first book covers Charlie did. Afterwards,
really?
She did way more of them. Like, this was kind of the entry point for her into publishing way more book covers. And that also makes me happy because I love Charlie Bowater's art. So,
it's also a really good cover, dude.
It's such a banger. I saw her post the art for it and I was like, oh, I need this. This is gorgeous. And also, the ones I have, the hardcovers, all have like this metallic sheen on the covers, and they go together so well. Oh, they're so pretty. And they're good. Incredible. I love when good books have good covers.
It's the best thing is if it's like a like a little square, like a true false one.
Yes.
That is just like a good cover, bad cover, good book, bad book, and obviously good cover, good book is the best, right? And it's then the obvious next choice would be bad cover, good book, because you still don't have a good book, right?
Yeah.
But I think the worst isn't bad, but the worst is bad book, good cover.
Yes.
Because that's like deceptive. Yeah. It tricks you into thinking that this is great, and then you pick it up, and it's not.
If you pick up a bad book that has a bad cover, you're like, I didn't know what I expected. It's like Dead Dove. Like, it's showing you, right? The poisonous frog was neon colored. You could see it was bad for you. So,
all the neon ACOTAR books is like, they're poisonous frogs. Don't pick them up.
They're gonna kill you! And your brain cells too! Don't do it! Friends don't let friends read ACOTAR.
I swear, every single time I see someone online being like someone I follow who does not have anything to do with books, right? They follow for a different reason, but they're like, okay guys, remember when 2 weeks ago I asked you guys for recommendations on books and you wanted to know the recommendations as well, so I'm just gonna list them here. And I see ACOTAR, my non-parasocial ass would love to be like, guy, please don't read that. But since I get an ick from writing influencers online, I never do that, so I'm like, I'm sorry, but you have to read ACOTAR and realize it's bad.
The thing is also that they're very popular, and the thing is, unfortunately, that the wider public has really bad taste, so often you just end up looking like a huge piece of shit, being like, oh, the writing's not good, you can do better. And then they have 20 people in the inbox who are like, no, I love ACOTAR, it's like my comfort read, it's so good, it's such a fun fantasy book, and you're standing there like, it's shit for this reason, and you just, it's not a good look. It's just not. You just look bad.
You do.
ACOTAR is so popular that I feel like you can get it at any library, so I feel reassured that people can probably get it for free if, they want to.
Yeah. Though, we did look up and we did see that authors, at least in Germany, do get, 2 cents per medium that was checked out of the library.
Yeah, no, it's pretty common that authors get something. But again, it's more like, I don't want people to spend their own money on that.
Oh,
and
you're not even like...
Later on... No, I don't think that
Yeah.
makes a difference. I was just like, I don't want them to spend like 15 euros on one of those god-awful, ugly neon cover ACOTAR versions and then come out of it being like, guys, I didn't even really have a good time. I don't...
Yeah, that'd be unfortunate. That's true.
So... But yeah, no, good book with good cover. It makes me so happy. Doesn't happen that much anymore for debut authors because they just don't get the attention and work done from the publisher that these books deserve.
Yeah. Which I think it's
so sad.
I mean, yes, we know on average in total the editing effort has gone down, but I think it's insane to be like, oh, jolly, I could get a new stallion into my stable, and should I train that new stallion and keep an eye on them so that they have the best start and give me the most money? No, I'll just put the colt in there and let it run rampant. It's like, what?
I could spend that money on 2 more horses that I don't train and put out just more horses and hope to RNG a win, you know? It's...
Yeah, like that's not how you play, you know, the horse video game. You gotta train your baby. So it's I'm almost sad for the debut writers, but
yeah, I'm so offended on their behalf because the publishers should be doing more work and they're giving them less money now than they used to too.
Yeah.
So it's like they're just getting such a worse deal and the publishers don't even promote most of them. So it's even worse where I'm just like, dude, that's fucked. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Well, I realized one thing before we even started recording this episode was that due to all the ACOTAR reviews in the past few weeks, months, we haven't done a genuine how many stars would you give this book in a long time.
Oh my god.
Because with ACOTAR was always like, we hated it. Just chucked it. But what would you, if we think about the Goodreads, what would you give Enchantment?
Probably well, on Goodreads I'd probably give it a 4, but in my own private ranking it would probably be more like a 3.5, something like that. But I'm very nice on Goodreads because I think that, you know, it is kind of above average. When I think about what other books I have at 3 stars, I'm like, you know, this can go to 4 stars. Sure.
Yeah, I would also give it 4 stars, but not because I'm nice in general. So I'm like, because we have already established my scale is a bit different. It's a lot of impacted by how much of a jolly good time I had. So I think it's a 4.5. I did have a good time. It's not a 5-star read, but it was a damn good opener to some fun full reading. And now that it, you know, has gone actual autumn vibes, that's quite nice. So yeah, I would recommend it to people. I think we forgot to say, hey, if you want to read this, don't listen to this video, but I think that's not even necessary for
I was about to say, I think if somebody, I was just like, if you want to read it, you've probably read it before. It's not like we gave very insightful spoilers.
We gave some spoilers.
And if you listen to this without knowing the book, I feel like you're not coming out of this being like, oh, I know exactly what happens, you know? I feel like you go out of this going, okay, many things seem to be happening.
You know what's not happening, which we complained about.
Yeah. But no, that was so interesting that the marketing was so slightly off. But yeah, no, if you made it this far and it sounds good to you, read it. Or if you have read it because you were around when it was hyped when it came out, give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts.
And always give us your thoughts, even.
That's true. We love your thoughts.
All right, thank you so much for listening. This one was not like a super long session, so maybe you enjoyed that as well for once. It's just 2 hours this time.
You know, it's proportional to the book length. Short book, short review.
Short and sweet. Sweet and short. The Sabrina Carpenter album. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.